All right, we've got a Kings of War bat rep. My Kingdoms of Men versus some more Nightstalkers. This is a Universal Battles battle report. And we'll just go through, both of us are testing, so this is 2,300 points in our standard control scenario. I'm trying out an experimental list. I saw this when I played The Order of the Green Lady, and I'll go over it. And then he's also trying his campaign list as well. So let's just go over our list. So with my new list, I still have the Spear Phalanx with Dragon Shard, Foot Guard with Hammer, two regiments of militia mobs. I've got fanatics of the Old Blood. And so here's the change. One, I'm running a regiment of knights with the boots. And then I'm bringing in my horde, but I'm trying them with the crystal pendant of retribution. This is something that I saw when I played the Order of the Green Lady, and I wanted to fit it in. So what I've done is I've dropped my beast cavalry, and I think it basically came out to the same points, 50 points, that I was managed to put this crystal pendant on these night hordes. So I want to see how it does. It's a little spicy, but let's see if it can work. So the rest of the list is the same. Two giants, standard bearer with the loot. We've got three mounted heroes and the captain unmounted. So the rest of the heroes, the rest of the list is pretty much the same. For my opponent's lists, he's got a pretty good list as well. He's running three hordes of scarecrows, and he's got a legion of scarecrows. So some good just chaff there that can just hold objectives. He's got four of the new Tormentors. So I've never played Tormentors before, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they play. He's got a Mind Screech, so he's given them this is the offensive version, so the Lightning Bolt version. He's got a Horror Riftweaver, so this is a character. It was pretty good for 110 points with the D6 plus 6 attacks. Pretty good for him. He's got a Terror, which I've been loathing to fight one of these guys, but it's good that I'm going to fight him. Terror is, I think, going to do very well against my army, but I need to kind of learn how to play against this model. He's got the Portal of Despair, which is a good one. Dream Hunter, which is great. He's got that elite in combat with him, so it's really nasty. He's got a pretty melee. He's got a good melee army, and he's running that Dream Hunter. He's got a Dread Fiend, and then he's got his Void Lurker as well. So pretty tight list. Yeah, so just on the setup here. So as we're setting up in control here, I kind of set up towards the center here. And after I saw him set up, I saw that left flank was probably where I wanted to hit. And so here, all I did with the captain is just move over my cavalry over to the center here. All right, the top of turn one. So I get to go first on my turn one. So in here, I pretty much just move forward. I bring up the heroes toward the center to threaten his Mind Screech, and then I bring up the other hero towards the left, bringing up Captain. And then, yeah, my plan is this game, I just want to hit that left flank really hard. So he does have some faster stuff on his right flank, especially that Dread Fiend. So the goal is to hit that left flank really hard before he can kind of get his Dread Fiend kind of into battle. So that's just me moving up here. No rolls on my turn, trying to get the cavalry horde, the cavalry regiment, and the two giants up there as quick as possible. So his bottom of turn one. So for him, here he just moves up slightly, and one thing he does is he moves up his Dread Fiend, and he moves it up and then turns to face my flank. I'm okay with that because that's basically why I have that militia mob there. I'm just going to go and get in his face. And the other thing is his Void Lurker on the right. He moves them up, and then he moves up. So I can't knock him out of the sky. He moves up his Tormentors as well. So he can charge. He also does 1 damage on my fanatics. So yeah, pretty good turn for me. So on the top of turn two, things are kind of going as expected here. The plan is to just hit that left flank, kill those units, and then be ready for the Void Lurker and the Dread Fiend before they come in. So on my turn, I send my cavalry and they're hindered. I send my hero into the legion of his scarecrows in the middle just to stop them. I know I know that I'm not going to be stopping those Tormentors because they can just jump over their scarecrows. but I at least wanted to slow down his legion. I also put one of my heroes into his other tormentors on the right. I know that's not going to stop the Void Lurker, but it is going to stop, at the very least, those tormentors. He does move up as well, on the right as well. But yeah, for me, so I'd like to blow up both of those scarecrows. And then I also put my giant into his terror. It's a bad matchup for him. I move up my foot guard, move up my pikes in the center, and then I get my fanatics so that he can't flank me, as well as I'm possibly threatening those. I'm also threatening those scarecrows in the center. Move up the captain, and then, I put the other hero to... I saw on the far left, I wasn't sure if I could take out those scarecrows, so I did put a hero into them as well, just to make sure. So yeah, at the end of the combat, I did 15 wounds. I got 2 from that hero, which was just enough to kill those scarecrows, so I'm glad I put that hero in. The knights turned over, and then the other thing you're going to see is that I do block off his Dreadfiend from attacking anything but the militia mob. He can't get basically more than 2 pivots. So I rolled 14. I rolled kind of low, and I didn't kill the scarecrows, which sucked, but it's not the end of the world. Did 5 wounds into the terror, and then a big thing for me is I actually waver the tormentors on the far right, which is really big for me. He really doesn't want to commit to killing that hero, and now he can't kill that hero with the Void Lurker, so it's a big deal that I wavered those tormentors. All right, bottom of turn 2. So he, just to show it, this is after his turn. So he puts his terror, and he puts the Dream Hunter and one of the tormentors into my giant, doing 16 wounds and killing them. He also gets a pretty good roll onto my cav, so I do have inspiring there, but he does kill my cav, and he kills them with dread. Dread, as we're going to see in this game, dread is just huge in this game. It's one of those rules that I think are oftentimes understated by Nightstalkers having access to. Dread, I think, is just very powerful. He does kill the Knight Regiment. It's not the end of the world, and he kills my middle giant. That's okay for me. It's not the worst thing in the world. He also kills my hero. This is him charging... he charged them with the Void, the Rift Weaver, and the Scarecrows. He also rolled the max withdraw range to get out of range of my Fanatics. So some good rolling on his part. He generally rolled pretty good this turn, and killed what he needed to kill, even with inspiring. So but it's not the end of the world. So at the top of turn 3, so for me, this is just start of my turn. So I send my cav into the flank of those scarecrows, looking to finish them off. I put my hero into the flank of those tormentors. I put my pikes. I'll go ahead and I want to kill these tormentors. So I put my foot guard into those tormentors and my pikes into the other one. I also bane chant those pikes. I then put my... I want to kind of finish off these tormentors, so I actually send the militia mob in to do a couple of extra wounds. I know that he's moved his Void Lurker up, so I kind of turn my Fanatics to kind of respond to both sides of it, and then I move up Captain. I'm okay with the Captain right there. I think that if he charges that Captain, he's going to get killed, so that's fine with me. Yeah, all in all, pretty much what I'm expecting. On my turn, I kill the scarecrows on the far left. I do 1 wound on the tormentors, don't do anything. I also roll 8 wounds and kill those tormentors. They're only 10-12, so I'm expecting to kill them. I didn't kill the tormentors on the far right. Rolled kind of bad, but I did waver them. I guess that's okay. And then I also killed his tormentors with 10 wounds on the left. So I've killed 2 more of these tormentors, killed the scarecrows, so the left flank is really starting to crumble for him. I also have my pikes are also pretty much in the front of everything, and they're going to be hindered, so I'm feeling pretty good about my pikes even. Even though he could get a lot of charges into that unit, it's in snare and it's hindered. So I feel even if those pikes die, I do feel that I could still handle it. It is annoying that I didn't waver those tormentors because I know he can put those in front of my giant, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. You can't get everything out of the turn. So on the bottom of turn 3, this is how he's looking. What he ends up doing, he actually rolls really well. He gets 21 wounds into my pikes. That's with ensnare and hindered. I think the terror just rolls really great. Even at hitting on 4s, the terror just rolls, I think, like 16 heads. And then he also rolls, I think 11 or 12 wounds himself. So he does kill the pikes. He rolls pretty good this turn. He does 6 wounds as well into my giant, which is, again, some pretty good rolling on his part, with only 12 attacks and only crush 1. And he also kills my fanatics. So that Dread Fiend in the far left has been freed up. They did hold that Dread Fiend off for 1 turn, but that Dread Fiend is free now. The pikes were kind of a tough one. I was expecting them to get wavered because I did have Inspiring there, but I think also the Dread too. That Dread is just really good. Still, it's not the end of the world. I'm still doing pretty good because, like I said, the Giant just took 6 wounds. I'm still doing pretty good this game right now. He also does 5 wounds into my Fanatics, so he rolls pretty good with his Lightning Bolt and does 5 wounds into them. So top of my turn 4. So for me, all I can do is double charge these Tormentors. And then also, I don't want those, in case I'm probably going to have to surge forward, so I don't want him getting that legion of Scarecrows into me. So I put my other hero into them just to stop them. I also sidestep the Knights 4 inches. I want to make sure they have room. I roll a 3 on my wild charge for my Fanatics, and I charge them into the Tormentors. To do that, the Militia Mob basically withdrew and did the withdrawal charge into the Scarecrows, and I also put Captain and the hero into the Scarecrows just to put some wounds on them. So I'm cleaning. I expect to clean up both of those Tormentors this turn, and that's going to be great for me to not have any Tormentors on the board anymore. So on my turn, I do clean up those Tormentors. And I also searched for it. I rolled a 6. All I needed was like a 2 to get outside of the 16-inch charge range of that Dread Fiend. So that Dread Fiend still can't charge me this turn. And then I stop the Scarecrows. And then the Giant rolls a 5 and also... So I'm just right in their face. I kill the other Tormentors. The Fanatics go and they face the Dread Fiend. And they also face the Scarecrows. So I'm looking to do that. It's looking pretty good for me this turn. No complaints. I feel pretty comfortable. Bottom of turn 4. So this is just where I'm at. I'm doing pretty good this turn. On his turn, this is really what screwed me. I think he does 8 wounds and he rolls boxcars into the foot guard and wavers them. So that's really bad for me. That he wavered. Oh, that Giant is technically next to the foot guard. That's just a mistake on the part. So that Giant is right here next to the foot guard. The other thing is that it's a bit of a gotcha, but it's a good one here. So on the previous turn, you'll notice that my Fanatics were within 1 inch of his portal. And I probably should have moved them better. That portal... This was a mistake on my part. I forgot that if you're within 1 inch of a unit, you can just, as long as you end further away. So because of that, he is able to move his portal to stop me from charging that Dread Fiend. That's another thing that I really should have watched out for. I forgot, and this is just showing you here. Because those Fanatics are within 1 inch of that portal, all that portal has to do is it can move freely, and if it basically is further away than 1 inch, he can do that. So using that rule, and I forgot about that rule, and it's a good play on his part. I'll give him credit for that. He is able to move his portal just to stop me from charging that Dread Fiend. His Dread Fiend goes into the flanks of my militia and kill them. He does 4 wounds into my hero, but the hero sticks. Yeah, it's just a big oversight on my part, and I'm definitely going to remember that next game. I should have honestly just given him the flank with the portal. The portal, well, no, he didn't even have a flank with the portal, so I could have positioned those fanatics better. So it's definitely a mistake on my part. All right, well, that being the case, the waiver, the big deal is the waiver on the foot guard. Rolling those boxcars, I did not expect those foot guard, and because of that does really screw me. It means I can't get a flank into the Dream Hunter and the Terror. So that really sucks. Yeah. So top of 5. So from here, I do put my giant. Oh, that's just a mistake here. So I do put my giant into his scarecrow horde. That giant got misplaced. I think he got moved around here. But I do put my giant into the scarecrow horde. And that frees up my cav. So again, my foot guard are wavered. So they withdraw and then they back off 2.5 inches. That gives me room to send my cav into the Dream Hunter. So I hit the Dream Hunter, and that allows me to kill the Dream Hunter, and then hit the Rift Horde Reaver, of which I kill him too. So I kill both. I also Bane chanted the Knights just in case. So I kill both of them, and then that's my bottom of 5 here. I really can't do much here. So for him, I do. Oh, the other thing is my fanatics also kill the portal, and then I turn to face the Dreadfiend. And then the other thing I do is I don't want the Dread. So they're at 9 wounds now from the lightning bolt. So the other thing I do is that when I charge the giant into the legion of scarecrows, I was also able to put my hero into the side of his Mind Screech, and that allowed me to get 1 wound, which wavered that Mind Screech, so no lightning bolt. That Mind Screech has now put 9 wounds into my fanatics, so I don't need that Dreadfiend hitting them. So what I do is that I actually just turn and hit the Dreadfiend with the hero, and to basically knock off the hero, knock off the Void Lurkers flying, and then I actually just put my captain right in front. So I think that's also good for me that those scarecrows can't get to me, and also the Dreadfiend, the Void Lurker. I'm sorry, I was getting too confused. The Void Lurker can't hit me. So, and the captain actually should survive. I've also knocked off that Thunderous from the Void Lurker, so I'm hoping the captain survives. So on his turn, he does 7 wounds on the captain, but the Dread is enough twice to kill him. He hits the flank into the fanatics, so the fanatics are now at 12 wounds. He does a couple of wounds into the giant, and he goes ahead and he commits both the terror and the rear of the Dreadfiend, and kills off my foot guard. Yeah, it's definitely looking rough now. And luckily the hero does stick, so. That's nice for me. But him killing the captain is really rough. I needed that captain to stick. So, yeah. Top of 6, it's getting pretty bad for me now. So from here, I send the... So what I do is I withdraw the giant. I did give my Knights gave 1 inch so I could withdraw the giant and move him towards the center. And I send my Knights into his scarecrows. The other thing I do is I go ahead and double charge the front and the back of his Mind Screech. There's a lot of monsters, so I'm sorry if I'm going to bounce around here. He's got a lot of monsters. So the Mind Screech gets double charged just to stop him from doing anything. And with 12 wounds, I absolutely need to kill that Void Lurker. So I do pop the blood on the fanatics. I have to do it. I don't want to pop the blood on the fanatics, but I have to kill that Void Lurker. So I pop the blood on the fanatics. And so from here, with the blood, I do 16 wounds into the Void Lurker, and I kill him. I also roll good, and I kill the I kill the horde of kill the legion of scarecrows, and then turn around. And I do 3 wounds and I stop here. So basically, I'm counting for a turn 7 here. Right now, he can get 4 to 2 if there's no turn 7. And maybe I'm hoping that his scarecrows whiff. I did move the fanatics so that his scarecrows have to be on the edge of that barrier, and so they will be hindered. So on his bottom of 6, so from here, yeah, he charges and he does do 2 wounds and does kill the fanatics. He also does 6 wounds into the flank of my giant. And again, with Dread, he rolls a 5, so that's a 19, but with Dread, that turns into a 20. And he is able to secure... So since he kills my fanatics, he gets the bottom right, and he has his Mind Screech there, so that's the top right. I have his center. He grabs my center, so that's his center. So it's 4-2 right now. And there is no turn 4. There is no turn 7. So that is a 4-2 victory to the Nightstalkers. That I will say again, that waiver roll on the foot guard, it really hurt me. But I think he did roll better than me this game. But also, I did make some plays that I think were some mistakes. And I think that I've learned a little from this game. And we'll talk about that. You learn more from your defeats than your victories. So let's go through some of the learning points. So the one thing, I think the Retribution Amulet does feel expensive for 50 points. I tried it on my Knights, and I will say I made mistakes on that. And the fact that the Knights were the only unit to survive, I think is a problem. I probably should have committed those Knights to the center and allowed them to die and then have them explode, rather than sending in more units at first. So that's a mistake on my part. I could have played better with the Retribution Knights. I really could have been more aggressive with them and then have them die and then have them explode. I think as well, the big mistake, and it's good that I played this game because I got reminded of, there has been some discussion about the 1-inch rule being simplified, but the truth is that right now we are playing with the 1-inch rules and its intricacies. And one of the things that has to be reminded about is if you get within 1 inch of an enemy because of like a withdrawal or, or some sort of pivot, you basically give that enemy a lot more freedom because, again, all they have to do is end further away from you. And that's a thing that if you don't want your enemy to get a lot more freedom of movement, don't end within 1 inch of them. So that's a mistake. I could have positioned those fanatics so that portal wouldn't have blocked me, and but because I wasn't paying attention to that small difference in that 1 inch rule, it cost me, right? Because I could have had that portal was nothing. I could have sent those fanatics into the scarecrows or the Voidlooker a turn earlier. So that was a big deal. I think that could have cost me the game or at least a tie. Another thing is always try to give your own units 1 inch space. So I did remember that one. So with my giant going into that legion of scarecrows, I remember to give him 1 inch room so that if I needed to, I could withdraw and move him away. So I did do that with my Knights. The other thing is I probably could have pushed the center more with my fanatics. I tried to... with my fanatics, I tried to do both things with my fanatics. I probably should have either committed my fanatics to the right flank or committed them to the center. So I think looking back on the game, I would say sometimes don't try to do both things with a unit. I had those militia mob there to protect my flank. I could have really committed those fanatics to the center or committed them to the right. But because I didn't do either, they were out of the game a couple of turns. So another mistake on my part. So like I said, my opponent did have some good rolls, but I could have played better. I could have won this game. So I don't think it's the Army's fault. I think it's just, some plays that I need to do some fine tuning on. All right. So with that, thanks for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles 2. I'm always interested in feedback. So always let me know. We're trying to grow the channel, so like, subscribe, and comment. It's a big deal. If you're in Austin too, with the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks group, you can always join and play me there as well in person. So thanks, everyone.